Ravens flock. It's time. After 3 days of crazy playoff football, we have finally figured out who our opponent is. It has been determined. The Houston Texans are coming to Baltimore. We will be taking the Texans on Saturday, 4:30 Eastern Time at the bank. Let's talk about it. Woo! Ravens flock, what's going on, everybody? How you guys feeling? Did you enjoy watching the Steelers take that L? It was pretty interesting, Steelers fans, they've been running their mouth all season. Browns fans over the last few weeks, they've been running their mouth all season. Both of them talked about how they were going to come to Baltimore and pull off the upset. Oh, Cleveland, they kept holding on to the fact that they beat us with Deshaun Watson in that week 10 matchup. They won that game in Baltimore, and they were like, man, we're going to get back there. Flacco going to get his revenge, and they're going to eliminate the Ravens. They couldn't even win their game. Pittsburgh kept running them out. Oh, we own you guys. We won 7 of the last 8 games. We're going to get to Baltimore, and Mason Rudolph's going to beat Lamar Jackson and have more playoff wins than him. You couldn't beat Buffalo. There only remains one AFC North team, and that is the Ravens. They were waiting, Pittsburgh. They were waiting, Cleveland. You couldn't get the job done. So now the Houston Texans, they are our opponent. They have been determined to come to the bank for the divisional matchup and match up with our Ravens for a chance to go to the AFC Championship game. Obviously, Ravens know what's at stake. They know what's on the line. They remember 2019, and trust me, they're not looking to overlook any one of their opponents. They keep bringing up 2019 just to keep them focused. So, we got the Texans coming down to Baltimore. Now, to be honest, this is going to be a fantastic matchup. Lamar Jackson versus C.J. Stroud in the postseason. It's going to be great. You've got the star power right there. Ravens defense getting the chance to go up against C.J. Stroud. Our offense getting to go up against that Texans defense. Man, it's going to be great. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. I expect this to be a great game. I'm not expecting a blowout. Don't see the Texans blowing us out. I don't see us blowing them out. I expect this to be a tough, physical, competitive game that's going to come down to the wire, and I believe the Ravens can get the job done. Now, of course, this is the same Texans team we took on in Week 1, but obviously it was Week 1. The Texans team we took on Week 1 is not even remotely close to the Texans team we're going to be seeing on Saturday. Yeah, it's the same team, but man, the way they've been able to develop as the season's gone by, the amount of improvement we've seen by this team since Week 1, the emergence of C.J. Stroud since Week 1. Oh, this is going to be good. And if you go back and watch that game in Week 1, you can see right off the bat, C.J. Stroud was still making plays. Now, they didn't get a lot of points offensively, but C.J. Stroud was moving the ball against our defense. Yeah, we were missing a lot of pieces. That's cool. But still, he was throwing the ball well. That guy is a certified baller, and he's going to go at our defense with everything he's got, and our defense has to be prepared to handle C.J. Stroud because he's unfazed by anything you throw at him. Our defense has to be ready and engaged. And of course, that Texas defense is going to look to put pressure on Lamar Jackson and this Ravens offense. But thankfully, the Ravens offense isn't the same offense they saw in Week 1. That was the first game we had played under Todd Monken's system. Not to mention, that was the first game Lamar, Odell, Bateman, Duvernay, a lot of our guys, that was the first game they played in like a year. Because you remember, Lamar Jackson got injured last year. He hadn't played football since, late November or early December? So that was his first game in nearly a year. Odell was recovering from an injury. He had missed football for a year. Bateman as well. And Duvernay, they got injured in the middle of last season. So they missed time for about a year. So that was the first game. A lot of them were out there. First time playing in over a year. None of them participated in preseason, so none of them were in sync, and it was a brand new offense. So obviously, it was going to take time for it to gel. Yet despite that being the first game of that offense with everybody not having much time to play because they didn't play in the preseason, so it was the first time they were going to be on the field for a year. Despite that, the Ravens found a way to put up 25 points offensively. So with the team vibing the way they're vibing, with the way the offense has looked down the stretch in the season, with the way they have played against some of the toughest competition in football, one would believe that the Ravens are going to bring their A game. And let me tell you something. The Ravens have to bring their A game. They have to bring their A game against this Texans team. This Texans team is unfazed. Nothing phases this team. They don't care who they got to go up against, whether it's at home or on the road. They are unfazed by the pressure. C.J. Stroud is playing with house money. He is a bona fide star, and he's unfazed by any level of pressure you throw at him. So our defense has to play their A game. Nico Collins is a legit threat, and he's going going to be looking to get in our secondary, do damage down the field, and create big plays. And you know C.J. Stroud isn't afraid to launch the ball down the field. So our defense has to be prepared. They have to be ready because it's going to be a game that just goes right off the bat, firing on all cylinders for the Texans. We've got to be able to respond. Offensively, we got to be prepared. That Texans defense is a very aggressive defense. They've suffered some injuries, but despite that, they've been very aggressive, and they're going to look to put the pressure on Lamar Jackson and our offensive line. They're going to try to get to Lamar. They're going to try to put pressure on him. But Lamar Jackson so far this season, when you've tried to pressure him, when you've tried to put him in these tough situations, he's been able to respond. So I expect Lamar Jackson to respond on Saturday. He has to be playing his A game. The Ravens offense has to be playing their A game. The Ravens defense has to play their A game. If the Ravens can play their A game, they're going to win this game. Anything short of an A game, I believe they're going to lose. They have to be at their absolute best if they want to win. That's how much respect we have for the Texans. You have to be at your absolute best if you're going to want to beat this team. So we got to be on our A game. Offense got to do their job. Defense got to do their job. Special teams got to do their job. In fact, I don't want to see Tucker on the field. I don't want to see Tucker on the field unless he's kicking extra points. We don't need field goals in this game. With the way CJ and that Houston offense is vibing, this is going to be one of those games where if they're putting up points early on, we need to respond with touchdowns. So the Ravens offense has to be ready. The Ravens defense has to be focused and alert and ready to go. And everybody's got to be on their A game. If we can come out here and set the tone early on, we'll be in a good position. If not, we're in for a battle. No matter how you look at it, we're going to be in for a battle. But if we're down early on, we are definitely in for a battle. We need to come out and fire on all cylinders. We need to handle business, do our job, and play consistently great football for 60 minutes. If we're able to play consistently great football for 60 minutes, we will win this game. Everything's on the line. This is the best chance we've had to get to the Super Bowl since 2019. And since everybody's so nervous about 2019, it's up to the Ravens to go out there and show them that this squad is not the 2019 squad. The people that were on that 2019 team, they have grown and matured since then, especially Lamar Jackson. It's time to go show it on the field. At the end of the day, it's the playoffs. Anybody can be eliminated. We have to handle business in our house so that we can host the AFC title game against either the Chiefs or the Bills. You have to be on your A game to get the job done. You know who your opponent is. John Harbaugh talked about it. They've been preparing for their opponent in the Houston Texans since Sunday. When they saw the Texans win, they kind of zoned in on them. When they saw the Dolphins lose as well, they zoned in on them on Sunday and said, hey, we're going to focus on preparing for the Houston Texans. If Pittsburgh finds a way to beat the Bills, we'll pivot to the Steelers. But they didn't. So they have remained laser focused on the Houston Texans since Sunday. They will continue to stay laser focused on them today. They've got 3 days of practice, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. They'll rest on Friday, and they'll host the Texans on Saturday. So these next 3 practices have to be great practices. And we know we got people that rested last week that maybe returned to practice this week. Everyone's got concerns with Zay Flowers, but I believe he's going to play. Even with himself, I'm dealing with that calf injury. He's played in those games while dealing with it. They want to give him extra rest. I expect him to be back this week. Same for Marlon Humphrey. A lot of the guys that were dealing with injuries last week that missed time, I expect them to be on the field this week. So we're going to be at near 100%. Maybe we'll be at 100%. Maybe we might even have Mark Andrews. Who knows? But we're going to be as healthy as we've been all season. We have no excuses. Get the job done, Baltimore. That's all that needs to be said. With that being said, guys, we'll be talking about this all week. We've got to preview this game. There's so much to discuss here. So we'll be talking about the Ravens versus the Texans all week. Just be prepared. But we know who our opponent is. Houston, we'll see you in Baltimore Saturday afternoon, 4:30 Eastern time. We know you guys are coming ready. You're going to come ready to try and pull off the upset and advance to the AFC title game. We know you're going to be ready. We know you're going to be prepared. We got to match your energy. We've got to be just as prepared, if not more prepared than you guys. We've got to bring the energy you're going to bring. We got to match that and even go higher than that. We expect the very best out of you, and I know you expect the very best out of us. 60 minutes of football. Let's go out there, see these guys play, and may the best team win. With that being said, that's all I've got. I will see you guys later. Peace out.